Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world, virtual motorsport fans. Thank you for tuning in to Virtual Auto Sports here on Twitch TV. Great to have you for the FM4 Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series finale. Week number 5, race number 9, and we have a good one on tap for you here tonight. 45 laps around the beautiful, I call it beautiful, some of you may disagree, I think it's great, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and in these 1965 Alfa Romeo GTA Stradale Sprint Giulia, I know, I jumble them up every single time. It's never the same. But these cars have grown on me. I've really come to appreciate these cars, even though I'm not even behind the wheel. Behind the virtual wheel, I'm sitting here just watching them, spectating them, commentating on the cars as they go around the track, but they've been fascinating to watch. And for 45 laps around this track here tonight, it's going to be a good one to watch. And we've got some history that's on the line here this evening, a chance for the first ever driver of the FM4 League to come away with a complete season sweep. That's right, Slaps Vela was able to pull out yet another set of wins last week, or last Tuesday, in week number 4, and rolls here into week number 5 with 300 points to his name. Of course, if he were not to race tonight, he would get another 100 points to account for his victories last week. Because of the rule that is in place here in FM4 where there is a drop week, that's why he's only showing 300 points. So no matter what, he's coming out of this season with 400 points. He's highlighted in gold because the championship is in the bag. Nobody's going to be able to rip that from his grasp. But the battle there between Cratrium, Slipstream, Vuntang, T-Phrase, even on down to Slow Motion Fire, Fear the Fun, Weiss Lancelot, got to go fast. I mean, the whole left column there, we're going to be wanting to watch and see who moves up, moves down, and then, of course, on the right-hand side, you've got Demos and D-Fire there that could move up a few spots themselves. So a lot of great racing to be had tonight, even though the championship is in the bag. And that's what I hope you all are excited about, that you can hang out here with us for the next, an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes. And enjoy the spectacle that is virtual motorsport here on the Virtual Autosport channel. And again, great having you here, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up here in the month of June. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on after this race here this evening. So for those of you who have been fans and supporters of this channel for some time, well, you have reason to celebrate because we've got more content coming to you in the month of June in the way of 3, I don't want to say race events because there are 2 dates in particular where we're going to be doing BA Better for Photographer streams, so we're going to mix it up a little bit there on 2 of the dates. But for the entirety of the month of June, apart from those 2 dates, the rest of those days on Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, we will have racing content, and I'm excited to share all the details of that here this coming Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm doing a special June 2019 preview right here on the Virtual Auto Sports Cast, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. British time. And so be here for that. We'll make it quick. I know the Indianapolis 500, some of you are going to want to tune in for that. So we'll make it, we'll be brief. We'll be brief, and I see Slow Motion Fire already in there in the Discord saying Shadow is live. Feel free to jump in the interview and chat. Yes, if there are any drivers who would like to chat here before the race gets kicked off, we've got 5 minutes before the race, so hop on over to that queue for interview section here of the channel. Of course, all of you that are watching here on Twitch TV Live, go ahead and drop a hello or maybe give a prediction. Who's going to come out second overall? We already know that Slapswell is going to grab the championship, but who's going to come out second overall here in season number 27? And already thinking ahead to season number 28, that means Slaps Vela is going to have the position to pick the car because this is a spec racing series. Slaps Vela will pick the car, singular, that will be raced in season number 28. And that'll be another 5 weeks of fantastic racing. If you did not participate here in season 27, a great opportunity for you to get in on the fun in, let's just say about 3 or 4 weeks' time. And I don't want to say the official announcement because really the official announcement comes from Slow Motion Fire over there at reddit.com/r/FM4. But we'll have details on season 28 this coming Sunday, at least when you can expect that season. So be sure to tune in then. And for those of you who are a little bit nosy or know your way around here on the channel, scroll on down below, twitch.tv/virtual autosport, and you can see already a sneak peek, a preview of what's ahead in the month of June with some of the races. And that being said, let's go ahead and bring in the commissioner, the leader, the whatever you want to call him, Slow Motion Fire here of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. Season 27 comes to an end here tonight. What are your thoughts looking back on the season on how things have been here in the Alpha?
Oh, it's been a good one. This car has been a blast to drive. And even practice here for Laguna Seca, we saw some good battles just taking place in practice. So
that's great. And we see it looks like 11 drivers on the grid currently. Hopefully some will jump in here last minute before we get qualifying underway. You mentioned you guys did a little bit of driving or tuning or at least test driving around the track here before the race, and it looks like you guys have been out there for some time. So you saw some battles develop and everything. How does this car take to this track? It seems like a proper fit for the Alpha here at Raceway Laguna Seca.
Yeah, it's kind of all about keeping your momentum up and really pushing the track limits to do that. So I think you're going to see quite a few little off tracks by people trying to be fast.
Yeah, and when you've got a situation where you've got a racer who has already commanded control of the championship, we know Slapsville is going to come away with this thing. Really, still, you've got a lot of battles there. You've got a whole lot of different positions on the left-hand side of that standings, second all the way down to 12th, and then even beyond where folks can shift around. So the competition is very much still alive, even though these guys know that they're just playing for runner-up. And maybe
you broke up on me there, Dustin.
Broke up on you there. I just basically saying, hey, the sense of competition is still there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. The sense of competition, it's still there. Even though Slapsvella's got this thing in the bag, all these guys, whether they're going for the runner-up spot, one of the podium positions, either way, still coming out here battling, trying to put a good show on for the finale.
Very much so. I think you're going to see some, like I said, some close battles today at this track, just because everybody's pushing it that much harder to keep speed up in the car. Those little mistakes are going to cost you, and then there's going to be a lot of passing. Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, here we are, just moments away from qualifying. So slow. I'll let you get back there, but great job on another fantastic season, and good luck out there at Raceway Laguna Seca.
All right, thank you. Thanks for broadcasting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And for those of you who tried to tune in last Tuesday and you said, hey, where is week number 4 here? Yes, I did have to take a hiatus, tend to some family matters, and such is life, you know. When life comes up, things take precedent, and that's exactly what happened. But glad to be back here for the finale, and we're getting ready here for 3 laps of qualifying around Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I'll go ahead and flip things over here to the lobby for you all so you can see we now have 13 drivers out there on the grid, and a big old hey-yo to Dino Dad's Shadow TV there in the pit lane saying hi. Good to see you there, Dino Dad Shadow. And again, as always, folks, be sure to drop by his Twitch channel, drop a follow, and check out some of his racing content all through the week. Dino Dad Shadow behind an actual, steering wheel as opposed to a controller. So for those of you who are curious and maybe have questions for Dino Dad Shadow about what it's like to purchase or tune and get a wheel ready for Forza Motorsport or any other virtual racing title, well, head on over to his broadcast when he's doing that. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer your questions. All right, so we're just getting ready for the race here. Any moment now, we'll go into qualifying. Minimalist 1981 with the Kermit the Frog and a hello, Ether and Hunt, with another 30 bits. Thank you there, Ether in. You continue to climb up the leaderboard there between Combat Beast and a Bread. And, yeah, Dino Dad Shadow saying definitely. Yep. I have a wheel as well, but I do mostly commentating, so I can't help out much as it relates to questions for wheel setup and all that. So definitely he's the guy to go check out. And as I say that, we've also got Mesosphere here on the track tonight. He was also a participant back in week number 4. You want to check out Mesosphere. He's probably actually even broadcasting right now or streaming right now. Although you can get all the views, or at least the view of the entire pack as we go from front to back here during this broadcast on Virtual Autosports. And here we go. Modern Weapons could be the first one off the grid. He's got all of those number boards plastered about his car. He got away with it. He got away with it. What's up there, GG Racing? Good to see you. GG Racing could be participating in the Indy 250 that we've got going on this Thursday. You want details on that, then let me see. I can easily provide that to you with just a drop in the pit lane there. There's the registration. Sign up for that, the Indy 250, all the details on that registration form. So that's the single source of truth. That's where you want to go for all the info. And be a part of that fun. Celebrate the release of that IndyCar content, and, of course, out ahead of the Indianapolis 500 happening this Sunday. All right, as is the case here in FM4, they'll do 3 qualifying laps, all the cars out on the track at once. There comes Mesosphere, as I was just mentioning him, starting to sneak up there on Modern Weapon. This is a standing start lap, so they'll get 2 flying laps to try to set their best time. And as always, keep in mind that the fastest dirty lap will always be categorized as slower than the slowest clean lap. So it's all about setting 1, that clean lap, and then 2, setting a fast clean lap to get yourself further up in the grid. But as things have shown all throughout the year, or throughout the season here in season 27, Slaps Vela doesn't care where he is off the start line. He's going to find a way to make his way up to the front. And currently Mesosphere with the top time at a 1:47.2, and again, from a standing start. So here they go down the hill into the hairpin. Big left-hander before you come up here to the right-hander, and then underneath the Continental Tire bridge. Now Craytrim with a 1:45 is out there in front. Let's see, is Slaps Vela even out there on the track right now is the question, which would spoil any opportunity for him to become the first driver to sweep a season. Dino Dad Shadow saying no, he is not. Interesting. Underneath the Mothers bridge now goes Modern Weapon. Let's go ahead and go back to Craytrim, who is our pace leader out there on the track. Now coming out of the second right-hander here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I love the track just because of the diversity in the layout of the circuit here. And, of course, you've got some elevation as Craytrim starts to head uphill and go up Rahal Straight toward the Corkscrew, one of the famed chicanes in all of motorsport. Several feet worth of descent here, and it almost happens instantaneously. You don't have a lot of time to think about it, even in these Alfa Romeos 1965 Sprint Giulia GTA Stradales. They've got 155 horsepower, 128 foot-pounds of torque, 1,448 pounds of curb weight. Here comes Craytrim now out of the final right-hander to the left-hander down the long straightaway here at Laguna Seca. I say long, it's the longest out here on the track. Maybe short by some standards compared to other tracks, but pretty sizable one, especially when you've only got 155 horsepower to work with. And 142 now for Craytrim, bringing that down 3 seconds. Here comes everybody else across the line. Let's see if anybody's going to be able to best Craytrim at this point. Slipstream with the second fastest time. Then it's Fear the Fun, Footang, Mesosphere, Tesaurus, Weiss Lancelot, Presto is Besto, Demos, Modern Weapon, Slow Motion Fire, T-Phrase, D-Fire. 13 cars out there on the track. I hate to love Laguna, says Dino. Really? This track has been a staple of the Forza series ever since the original Forza Motorsport title back on the Xbox, the original Xbox. And you might think that after having been in the franchise for so long, after having raced it so much, that I'd be tired of it. The answer is absolutely not. I really do like this track. And fortunately, the folks over at Turn 10 Studios give us pretty good camera angles of this one versus some of the other tracks where the views aren't so great. Here at Laguna Seca, they're pretty darn good, especially this one here looking up the corkscrew. And here we go. We've got a trio of Cratrium, Fear the Fun, and Slow Motion Fire. And that does make it a little bit tricky as you're trying to set a quick time. You've got a silhouette or a ghost of another driver out in front of you. You try to find that apex, and the silhouette, no matter how opaque it is, can make it a difficult proposition to pin down that cornering point. And even some of your braking spots. And here they go across the line for the final time. Cratrium, and not able to better his top time there. He'll stay at a 142.9. Back behind him will be Slipstream with a, I don't know what time. We'll have to wait until we see the leaderboard. Mesosphere, though, jumps up to third position overall. Fear the Fun in fourth. Fuotang fifth. Presto across the line now in sixth. Vice Lancelot looks to have seventh. T-Phrase eighth. Thesaurus ninth. Demos 10th. Modern Weapon slow. Then D-Fire. So there you go. That's qualifying in the bag for the 45 or ahead of the 45 lapper out here. Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Ether says Turn 2 doesn't get enough credit. There are many competitive lines that allow a lot of different driving styles. Yes, there most certainly is, and I can't say that I've perfected any of them, but that's what I kind of like about this track is you do have a multitude of approaches. Now, of course, there's going to be one that's going to be better than the other, but this track is forgiving in that sense that you'll notice that some of these drivers will take different approaches out there. Don't mind the order in which you see the drivers here. That's a fault of the game, that it's going by total time versus the best lap. And you don't have to look far down to see Cratrium there at a 142.9. They're showing third. That'll put him on the pole position, however. And then Mesosphere with a 144.5. Bested by Slipstream, though, with a 144.2. 0.3 of a second or so. Fear the Fun, 145.6. Thesaurus, 148.2. 151. Funtang there with that 146 flat. And Presto is Besto, 145.999. Corolla Skids, thank you for the follow. And anybody who's watching this channel, if this is your first time here and you are liking the action, or you haven't yet decided, but eventually maybe you do like the action, please click that follow button. Lets me know as the broadcaster that you are having a good time here. And if you can, a little bit of extra support will go a long, long way. We'll actually talk about a little giveaway that we're going to be doing, a fan giveaway here at the end of the broadcast as well. So stick around for that. We've got all kinds of wonderful stuff happening here on the channel. And if there's any drivers here before we get ready for this finale that want to chat and go into that queue for interview section, I think Slow Motion Fire will give us a little bit of leeway to have an interview or two before the race gets going. If not, then we'll chat with folks after the race. But if anybody is feeling especially good and positive now before they get into the race and on the track, then let's go for it. And even Slow Motion Fire saying go. Let's go ahead and get some interviews going. So you know where to go, folks, into that queue for interview section. I'm going to go ahead and back out here and go into spectate mode myself to make sure I'm all ready. And nobody's in that queue for interview section for right now. Maybe everybody's very much focused. Let's take a look again. One last glance at the standings before we get ready for the finale here in Season 27. And again, the story being that Slapsvella has already claimed the championship here in Season 27. Unfortunately, not out on the track. If he had been on the circuit and in this race, he would have had a chance to sweep the season, which would have been a first in the FM4 league. Not going to happen today, apparently. They'll get a total of 400 points after the tally is all said and done here at the end of tonight's broadcast. And we'll have this run back on replay or rerun for those of you who maybe can't stay for the entirety of it. You can come back and watch the replay or, as always, catch the race on demand. But most certainly there, Cratrium, Slipstream, those are going to be two drivers that you're going to watch, even Funtang there in fourth. Depending on where these drivers have had bad weeks, as it compares to what happens here in this race, because here in week number 5, the finale, the points are doubled. And so maybe you have a poor race out here at Laguna Seca and one of your other weeks make up for it. Well, the points will shuffle around then. So don't think that this is just, hey, Cratrium only has a 9-point lead over Slipstream. We'll see after the officials go back and do the official tallying and decide which week is everybody's worst week, that will then have an official standing. And Slow Motion Fire is pretty good at getting that accomplished in pretty short order following the broadcast. And here we go. Getting the word there from Slow Motion Fire in the pit lane that we are underway, or about to go underway here in the 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA Stradales. And here we go. Let's put a capstone on season number 27. It's been a beaut. And here we go. 45 laps out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Cratrium, who was out in the pole position, is the first to enter the hairpin here at turn number 2. Mesosphere back behind him on the outside, or the inside of, it's going to be Slipstream. In that blue light special. Here comes Fear the Fun, though, roaring up into third spot. Let's drop back there to Fear the Fun. And maybe tapping the dirt just a little bit there. Should be able to maintain momentum in that Jägermeister car. He's got Presto's Besto, though, coming up quick. And here they go, roaring towards the top of the hill. Funtang back behind them there in 5th. Slipstream now has fallen back all the way to 6th spot. So it's Cratrium, Meza, Fear the Fun, Presto, Funtang, Slipstream in 6th, Weiss Lancelot in 7th, T-Phrase in 8th, Modern in 9th, Tesaurus in 10th, Demos 11th, Slow Motion Fire and D-Fire are 12th and 13th. Down the hill they go, and Fear the Fun is way off onto the apron there, and Presto's Besto's going to do his best rallying impression there as they come out of the corkscrew. And now it's going to be too wide with Presto, and actually they're going to drop back into single file here for this final right-hander coming up to the left-hander. And this is the way that we'll kick things off here, lap number 1 in the FM4 Season 27 finale. And there's Fear the Fun and Funtang too wide coming out of that final left-hander. And it's going to be a drag race down toward the start-finish line. And they're still side-by-side, up over the hill, turn 1. You got to be careful there. You lose a little bit of weight off the tires. You don't want to find yourself in the side of the other car. They both come back down off of that hill and now through the hairpin nicely. And what a great battle there as Slipstream tries to find his way back up after having been on the opposite side of Cratrium for the start of this race. Cratrium, who was on the pole position. Cratrium has now fallen back behind Mesosphere. Mesosphere, who showed up for the first time here in Season 27 last week, is now going to try to go ahead and be the first driver to win a race who isn't named Slapsfella. How about that? He's going to try to do it in his second race here in Season 27. I'm Dustin Moore. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and again, we've got a lot of stuff ahead in the month of June to include Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, but that's not it. So you want to stay tuned. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to tease it here at the end of this broadcast. We've got the Indianapolis 250 that we're going to be doing here on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll also have information on that here following this broadcast or following this race. and then on Sunday with our June 2019 preview. So Mesosphere out front, Cratrim back behind him. Slow motion fire telling me before the race here tonight that it does not appear that pit stops are going to be necessary. Unlike some of the events that I host where we have mandatory quick stops, here in FM4 it's purely based on the need for pit stop. And with that information that it may not be necessary, it could be full bore green all the way through. Funtang, their third position for the Andretti hairpin. Back behind him is Slipstream, who's now moved up from 6th to 4th after having been up in 2nd. Modern Weapon there in 7th. Let's go back to T-Phrase, who is in 9th position. Underneath the bridge they go, and into the right-hander, and a tricky right-hander. You got to be on the brakes or blip the brakes just a little bit there. You don't want to roll out into the dirt. You got plenty of runoff space here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, but that desert sand requires a lot of effort to get back onto the track, and there's T-Phrase in that Oral B liveried Alpha, followed by Slow Motion Fire now, who has moved up to 10th spot. He was running back there in 12th. Let's return to Cratrim in 2nd, who's trying to catch back up with Mesosphere, and he has closed that gap a little bit as they come through the sweeping left-hander. This is probably my favorite corner of the track. If you nail it, it's very gratifying. Get to line up here for the right-hander, carrying a lot of momentum back toward the start-finish line to conclude lap number 3 as they go by pit entry. Who do you guys think is going to win this race? Post up there in the chat, in the pit lane as we call it. Is it going to be Cratrim? Is it going to be Mesosphere? Maybe Slipstream is going to work his way back up to the front? Let us know your thoughts there in the chat. We'd love to engage with you all for the next, 40, 50 minutes. GG Racing is putting his bet on Cratrim, thinking that Cratrim is going to be able to make his way back up there. C-Tom, as he's formerly known, out here in the world of Forza Motorsport. Go back to Slipstream. In that Kmart car, he's right there on the heels of Funtang. Funtang, a hard charger every single race here in FM4, and now he's going to have to play defense a little bit. Slipstream looking to the outside. Going to go ahead and stay in his number 4 spot for now, but here they come up to another tricky left-hander. There's a couple of them out here at Laguna Seca. This is one that you really want to get good because you can carry that momentum up the Rahal straight toward the corkscrew. And be in a good position to hold on to position all the way through the remainder of a lap. Looks like he's catching back up and has a chance, but he doesn't want to push it too hard because if he does, he can possibly lose a position. Depends on how bad it is, says GG Racing. And GG Racing, I don't think GG Racing, have you raced here in the FM4 series? Not sure that you have. I wonder if one day we will. Let's go back up to Cratrim there in 2nd position. And he is closing in. Look at that, a matter of feet now at this point. The overhead says 9, 12, 14 feet. I think that spacing may be a little bit off. Not quite accurate. And here they go. Cratrim now into the right-hander. Not going to do it here. Underneath the bridge. Will they go side by side? Nope. He's going to stay right there on the heels. And I do believe Mesosphere probably on his racing wheel. So we may have racing wheel versus controller, I think, is what Cratrim uses. And now they will be side by side underneath the Mother's Bridge into another left-hander. And Cratrim has no choice but to back off a little bit there. Back up the hill. We'll try to get all of our other drivers some love here, but right now watching this battle play out, and again, the storyline here tonight is that had Slaps Vela shown up and won this race, he would have been the first driver in 5 years of the FM4 league history to have swept a season, but we'll have to hold off that. We'll have to hold off that those accolades until another season. Here comes Craytrim now into the right-hander. Will he make a move? DWM Frog saying exciting battle for first. It is indeed. These guys have created a lot of separation between themselves, third, fourth, and onward. And as GG mentioned, it's going to be a matter of how hard do you want to push it at this point. You're only 5 laps in to a 45-lap race. Yes, it says 46 there in the upper left-hand corner. That'll be a celebratory lap for our victor here in this race, this finale of season 27. Back through the Andretti hairpin, left-hander. GG Racing saying his friend is texting them that the new Supra is at his work and that he's inside it. Kudos to him, man. Toyota unleashing the price, the price line for the new Supra, and it boggles my mind. It's a lot more than I anticipated. I expected. Of course, I think everybody's saying that it's pretty much in line with what they thought. But man, I didn't see that coming. You're gonna be spending a pretty penny to get that one. Doug Roberts. I don't know why I said Roberts. Doug Roberts with the follow. Thank you there, Doug, and I'm sorry for deciding that you're going to be of the Robert family. Appreciate that. And here they go back down the corkscrew, and it looks like Craytrim is going to hold off for now. So let's go ahead and drop back to Slipstream, who continues to ride there in 4th position, back behind Funtang as they come down the hill. There's Fear the Fun, who was riding up in 3rd position. He wasn't there on the qualifying, but he was able to make his way up at the start, has fallen back to 5th spot. And that's where he'll be right now as he starts to close in on Funtang and Slipstream. Presto is Besto behind him in 6th. 7th is going to be Modern Weapon. Let's go to Tesaurus there in 8th position. Tesaurus joining FM4 for the first time here in season 27 and actually joined midway through the season, if I remember correctly. Doug saying thanks, no problem, thank you very much. Is this on computer or console? It's actually both. GG Racing said both. I'm spectating on PC, and some of our drivers may very well be on PC. Fortunately, with Forza Motorsport 7 and Microsoft's new Play Anywhere system, we've got cross-play between the PC and the Xbox One console. So if you've got Forza Motorsport 7 for either platform, you can join these folks as they get ready for Season 28, which will be kicking off here in June. All the details will be posted. They're not up yet, but they will be there at reddit.com/r/FM4. Pizza. Weiss Lancelot coming up the hill in that Little Caesars Alfa Romeo. These drivers, they were given the prompt here, as they always are. In every single season, there's a theme for how to dress your cars up. Now, you don't have to be the world's best painter to participate here in FM4, but it is encouraged that you try to do something that is a bit snazzy and appropriate for the lines of the car, and of course appropriate to the terms of service of Xbox Live. But we've seen some beauties here. These liveries look fitting on these Alfa Romeos. I really like all the different businesses that the drivers have opted for. We've seen Kmart, Oral-B, Castrol, and actually if you go back here to D-Fire's car in 13th position, one of the ones that I really like, you got kind of this fighter, jet fighter snarl up on the front there with the teeth. The teeth showing there. D-Fire 999. Back up to Fear the Fun, now in 4th. Trying to hold off Slipstream. Slipstream has now fallen back to 5th position. And Funtang now getting a breath of fresh air without anybody on his hindquarters. Roll up underneath the VP Racing Fuels bridge. Used to be the GoPro bridge, I think, back in Forza Motorsport 6 and 5. Now VP Fuels has claimed that one. Let's return back toward the front as Mesosphere continues to lead this race. Yes, technically it can be console or PC, both. Either one. That's the beauty here of the Play Anywhere system, and we suspect that the same will be said for Forza Motorsport whatever, if it's Forza Motorsport 8 or if Turn 10 Studios decides to go with a new naming structure for the future of the franchise, as we've already been told by the creative directors over there at the studios that the future of Forza Motorsport is going to be taking a little bit of a different approach, and that can already be seen by the fact that we're not going to get a Forza Motorsport title here in 2019, which breaks the cycle of the 2-year release cadence that we've been used to ever since the original back in 2005. And here comes Mesosphere now back through the right-hander. There you go, tapping the curbing a little bit and maybe a little bit of the dirt as well, as there's about a 2-car length separation now with Cratrium. Quickly closing there. Running through the pack again, Mesosphere, Cratrium, Footang in third, Fear the Fun fourth, Slipstream, Presto, and Modern Weapon are 5th through 7th. Tesaurus in 8th. Slow Motion Fire has now moved up another spot to 9th position. Weiss Lancelot there in 10th. T-Phrase in 11th. Demos and D-Fire are the back markers of 12 and 13, and lap traffic will definitely, no doubt about it, be a factor later on in this race. Only on lap 9 here of 45 out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and there is no weather set out here at this track. As a matter of fact, there is no difference in time of day here at Laguna Seca, although Turn 10 did throw in a few variations of cloudiness out here on the track. And fortunately, we've got plenty of peaks of sun. There is another version of this midday drive that is overcast, and it's a little bit drearier looking. This way we get some full color, full sunlight on these beautiful liveries. Of course, Mesosphere, they're going, having just joined the season last week, going with the very traditional stock factory red paint job all across. Cratrium continuing to harass Mesosphere, and that very well could be Cratrium's strategy here in this one, is just keep on the back bumper of Mesosphere, make him mess up. Don't fight him too much, but if he makes a mistake, take advantage of that, put him in your rearview mirror. GG Racing saying, which is nice because they still need to work on some stuff. Yeah, there's a lot that can be improved upon here in the world of Forza Motorsport, and I think it was a wise decision by Turn 10 Studios to say, hey, let's take a step back, let's change our approach, because it's not just the content of the game, but the fundamental development process is from what we've been told, revised, and for good reason, because the way things were almost 15 years ago when the franchise debuted, software development, app development, it's not the same as it was 15 years ago, and if you continue to use those same practices, you're going to get left in the dust. And some would argue that Forza Motorsport has waned in popularity over time, as the formula has failed to deviate much from the original. And I know a lot of folks will say, well, don't break what's been working, you know, don't fix what's not broken. But in this industry of electronics and digital technology, you have no room to get comfortable. You have no time to sit back and really admire your work. It's a constant world of flux and change, and so more of an agile, iterative approach is what we're anticipating here in the future of Forza. And Manteo Max is here. What's going on there, Manteo Max? Left in the dust, and well, nice little pun there. left in the dusting, he says. Yeah, that's what you want to try to do if you're Craytrim. Get around Mesosphere at some point. If he makes a mistake, leave him in the dusting. And there's some sparks flying there with Craytrim. And Craytrim's going to try to make a move here at this left-hander. That's a very interesting choice, and actually he backs off from it wisely, because we've seen that attempt go awry almost every time. We were talking about Forza stuff, and we've got plenty of laps to talk Forza, so by all means, if you've got racing, of course we had the passing of Niki Lauda. What was it, yesterday morning or last night? Maybe early this morning, late last night. Niki Lauda, the famed F1 driver, passing away at the age of 70. And so I know a lot of folks in the motorsport community mourning that tragic loss, somebody who has not only performed well and quite possibly one of the best performances, comeback performances that has been seen not only just in motorsport but across the world of what you would call sports, whether you're thinking traditional sports or some of these oddball sports like motorsport, where it's not traditional. Quite possibly one of the best comeback stories, having a devastating wreck in his career, and within 6 weeks' time getting back out onto the track despite his significant burns and injuries, and able to come away with a championship. Incredible. And of course what he contributed to the sport following his career was invaluable, without a doubt. And Dino Dad Shadow saying, "Rip Niki." Mateo Max very much with his thumb on the pulse of the world of Forza Motorsport, and I would say a lot of things, entertainment, very much in the know there, saying it's a world of constant flux capacitors. He's just, I give him credit and kudos that the guy has his entertainment industry knowledge down, and then what does he do? He throws in a pun. It's in a constant state of flux capacitors. Yes, man, I just watched the Back to the Future franchise from start to finish, and it remains my all-time favorite movie production ever. Such a great IP. Let's go to Slipstream, back in 5th position. He's only in 5th after having lost 3 spots and has not yet been able to reclaim those spots. He's got Futeng out in front of him, and that means Fear the Fun has moved up to 3rd position. So while we were watching the battle there for 1st and 2nd continue to wage on, Fear the Fun says, hey, give me some love back here with my Jägermeister car. He's got Big Kahuna typed out there beside the passenger door, and underneath the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca Bridge he goes, back down the hill and toward the hairpin for turn 2 and 3. And getting a little squirrely there. Did a short tribute race today, used Monza, as that was the first race he ran after the accident, Dino Dad Shadow said. And was that Dino Dad Shadow, was that the Forza Motorsport channel tribute that was doing that, or was that something that you had done on your channel? And again, make sure you guys follow DDS_TV there. Great content here on Twitch TV. I'm all about promoting the other broadcasters here. I don't think the virtual racing genre gets enough attention and love, and so for those viewers that are here with us this evening for the finale of the FM4 series, make sure you share the love if you haven't already with Dino Dad Shadow. I'm trying to think if any of these other commenters here in the pit lane are broadcasters. I know Mateo Max has done a stream or two, but I don't think you'll find him on here with any regularity. Something that you did. Okay, very good. Mateo Max saying he loves the look of the Alphas. Yeah, they're brilliant looking. And like I said, these guys have found ways to take, they're not necessarily period accurate designs, but they're so fitting for these cars. They've done so well in dressing them up. And so kudos to the drivers, not only getting these cars ready for the racetrack, but then also making them look good while they're out there. Up in front, it's still Mesosphere. Back behind him, Craytrim. We see Fear the Fun here in 3rd with Futeng back behind him in 4th. Slipstream in 5th. Presto's Besto in 6th. Tesaurus has moved up now to 7th position. He's a quick mover. There goes Slow Motion Fire now up to 8th. Modern Weapon in 9th. T-Phrase in 10th. Weiss in 11th. Demos in 12th. And D-Fire now being the back marker, the backest of the back markers, getting passed by Cratrim and Mesosphere. Oh, and there goes Fear the Fun a little bit too far onto the inside through that right-hander. Watching those track limits, got to be mindful of those. The Forza race regulations, unfortunately, yes, they have been implemented into private lobbies, but if you put those or if you enable those restrictions into the race, well, then you lose all capability of spectating the race. So we would lose the broadcast. So I'm very glad and thankful for Slow Motion Fire making the decision to go ahead and hold off on the Forza race regulations until Turn 10 Studios decides that the two can coincide, broadcast and FRR. And I don't know if that was a decision that was made purposefully or if it was an accidental glitch that, or it's not even really a glitch, it's just a, hey, if you turn that on, you lose spectate capability. So whether that was intentional or maybe they just said, hey, we got to hold it off for right now, and then we'll implement it quickly with a patch later on, we'll find out. And we are watching this three-way battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Fear the Fun, Fu-Tang, Slipstream. These guys have shuffled back and forth, not within the last lap or two, but over the last 15 laps as they begin lap number 15 here, coming down the hill. And here comes Fear the Fun once again, taking quite the angle of approach there in that Alfa Romeo, bringing it back toward the apex. And that's allowing Fu-Tang to close in slightly. We were talking about the different lines and approaches that you can take, especially with cars that are as narrow as these Alphas. You've got a little bit of space to work with here at Raceway Laguna Seca, although, again, the track is not forgiving in that once you get off of it, the sand makes it a little bit cumbersome to get back on to the tarmac. What kind of laps are they running? And then GG Racing saying about 143s, and actually we can give you the top time out here on the circuit. It is indeed. Look at that, GG Racing on it with a 143. And of course, up there on the ticker, you'll see it every once in a while. Right now, it's just showing time behind leader, but it will flash on over to the lap times themselves. Doug Roberts, thank you very much for being here and being engaged with our spectators, and of course anybody else who's watching us here live on Twitch TV for the 27th season, 27th running of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. They've been running this league for over 5 years. Incredible. This league has legs, I tell you that. And look at this, Fear the Fun starting to encroach upon D-Fire, who again is back there in 13th position as a back marker, and D-Fire will wisely go ahead and move on over, although he's carrying enough speed that he is going to return to the racing line. And Fear the Fun able to get around him cleanly, but same can't be said for Fu-Tang, although Fu-Tang seems to be by now, and maybe Slipstream will follow suit very quickly. Let's go ahead and return up to Cratrim, who remains in 2nd position. He's very tenacious. He's not going to make a move for first and make a mistake, but he is definitely going to keep right on the heels of Mesosphere. Again, Mesosphere joining in week number 4 here in his 2nd race of season 27, although no stranger to the FM4 series, so this is a comeback for him. And showing up nicely, looking to be the first driver. You show up in week number 4, and here you are in your 2nd week of the season, and you're looking to be the first driver not named Slaps Vela to win a race in season 27. Fear is sliding all over the place on some corners, might slow him down. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here. And I'm sorry, we lost our map there, but let's go ahead and take a look at the car information for our 2nd place driver of Cratrim. And as we had mentioned a little bit ago, fuel and tires, they don't seem to be a concern here in this race. We are not yet at the halfway point, but still only 6-7% degradation up in the front, 5% in the back, and 80% of the fuel tank remaining. The only requirement for a pit stop is if you happen to damage the car yourself. Doug saying my time would probably be 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Hey, the beauty of this franchise, or this league here, is that regardless of your skill level, you are encouraged to participate. So if you do have Forza Motorsport 7 or plan on picking up the title and you want to race with these guys, Season 28 is coming up here in the month of June. Somebody's got to finish first. Somebody's got to finish last. Where will you be? Well, get out there and find out. And again, as long as you race clean, you'll be invited to return week after week, season after season. Unfortunately, this being one of the quieter seasons in terms of involvement, but hopefully those of you that are watching, maybe you'll be inspired to join these drivers. And again, because Slaps Vela is going to come away as the champion, he will be the one to pick the vehicle for Season 28, and that'll be announced here in the coming weeks. Riding on board there, well, now we jumped off board with Mr. Big Time Tooth Guy, T-Phrase. And that's got a story in and of itself, as we were back there at Suzuka for the very first race, and I pondered the question of why the Oral B livery, and I basically surmised that maybe he's a big-time tooth guy. And of course, I should have known better that the Brotherhood of FM4, they would take that and use that against him. But he has taken to it, and I believe his name now in Discord is Big Time Tooth Guy. There they come through that sweeping left-hander downhill as they go to the final right-hander, and a nice little battle forming here, 8th, 9th, and 10th with slow motion, Modern Weapon, and T-Phrase. And here comes Big Time Tooth Guy to the outside of Modern Weapon. And let's see, is he going to be able to make a move? Nope, that's not a good line there in that final left-hander. And now they'll be duking it out side by side, wheel to wheel, door panel to door panel, back toward the start-finish line. It's Oral B versus 100 FM4 leader or number board panels there on the side of, well, the side, the front, and the top of Modern Weapons car. And there goes T-Phrase now to the inside through the hairpin, and he's going to have it. There was slow motion fire. Slow motion fire. That livery is a beaut. Let's go take a look at it. We'll put the camera time on him a little bit. He's got that Ducati design. What a great-looking car. That is a beautiful, beautiful design. It's a little scraped up at the moment, but once the team does the fixes to the bodywork and rolls that one into the museum, that'll be one to look back on. It's a good-looking car. Doug Roberts says, I love racing, can't get enough, but I drive like my age, 55. So you can drive 55, which is good. Unlike the song, you can drive 55. Hey, you know what? You love racing, you love driving. Oh no, and here comes the dreaded load screen, and that usually means we've lost a driver out on the track. Stand by. And we have recovered. I fear to find out who we've lost. We've got Mesosphere, Cratrium, Fear the Fun, Funtang, Slipstream, Tesaurus, Presto, Modern Weapon, T-Phrase, Weiss, Demos, and wouldn't you know it, Slow Motion Fire, the organizer of the race, is off the track. And we'll see if they continue on here. Mesosphere still holding on to the lead. Actually has now about a 4 or 5 car length lead over Cratrium. And it looks like they're going to continue on. The world needs pace cars too, says Doug. Or, I mean, says Mateo Max to Doug. This is true. This is true. And up the hill they go. The Ray Hall straight there is Mesosphere down toward the corkscrew. They've got lap traffic up ahead of them again. That's going to be 11th position of Demos. Lap traffic hasn't seemed to be much of a hindrance at this point. Able to get around D-Fire a little bit earlier on. D-Fire out here running his own race. His son has joined us in the chat every once in a while. And here comes Force One. Good to see you there, Force One. Hola, it's cold, he says. And I don't know, is Force One, are you reporting in from Burbank, California? Force One joining us here in the broadcast. Good to see you. Force One raced with us one time there in the Mileage Master Series, just showing up and showing his strength there in the Audi. Gosh, what was that? The RS LMS car? Back in through the right-hander, coming up to the Mother's Bridge here. Lap number 20. Lap 20 of 45. Mesosphere continues to be the car to shine the spotlight on right now, holding off Craytrim, at least for right now. But again, I really do believe that Craytrim, he's had a couple of opportunities to get around, but he's thinking, hey, maybe if I can continue to lay on the pressure here with the Mesosphere, especially as we've got lap traffic coming up. There goes Weiss Lancelot off to the right-hand side of the Rahal Straight, coming up to the corkscrew. Maybe if I can use the, well, look at that. Lap traffic now going to get between first and second. There goes Craytrim to the inside, up onto the dirt a little bit. Now down this corkscrew, and he looks good. Down through that sweeping left-hander. Going to hold on to it nicely and catch right back up there to Mesosphere. And that's what I'm saying. I think Craytrim could pull this out, and I do believe he's due to make a pass at some point. He's just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Cold, not fun. It's cold over here, too, but not too cold, says GG Racing, reporting out of Oregon, USA. And again, wherever you are in the world, we're going to consider you virtual motorsport fans. Thank you very much for tuning in. Virtual Autosports. Yes, we've changed the name here on the channel. Virtual Autosports live on Twitch TV, the 27th running of the 27th season of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. And here we are in the finale. Slaps Vela forgoing the 9-race sweep, and for whatever reason, out tonight. And so, again, we'll have to hold off the accolades. The first time that a driver's gone through all 9 races with a victory. It will not happen here in Season 27, and instead, Mesosphere looks to take the win, but he's going to be challenged all the way to the end. Let's go back to Futang. They're in 4th position. There goes Shadow again, says GG. I know, it's hard to break after having used that moniker for over a year, it's hard to break the cycle. There goes Futang, Fear the Fawn, a little bit wide, coming up out of the left-hander now. Going to make that pass on Rahal Straight as Futang, and he will have the position as the Castrol car now moves up in front of Jägermeister. Here comes the Blue Light Special, peeking around Fear the Fawn. Nothing there. Going to stay single file down the hill. And let's see, what's Slipstream going to do? He's been riding in 5th position for far too long. He's got to make some passes. He's got to get around these guys. And he tries it there, nothing doing. Here comes Futang, sliding that Alfa Romeo a little bit there through the right-hander, and out to the final left-hander for the end of lap number 21. They'll start lap 22 here. Some sparks as Fear the Fun gets onto the left rear quarter panel there of Futang. Rubbing is racing, right? Rubbing is racing. Let's see, there goes Fear the Fun, and that's where Fear the Fun has been squirrely all race. And what a beautiful pass. He gets around Futang, at least for now. Futang, though, looking to have the advantage coming up to the right-hander on the inside line. Look at this battle for 4th position. Actually, check that. Make that 3rd as they go underneath the Continental Tire Bridge. Now we're going to ride on board here with Fear the Fun. Wow, these guys are exciting back here. And we've got a car that's off the track there, just past the corkscrew. That's going to be D-Fire, who's pulled off the side of the track. We hate to see that. And it looks like he has just parked his car up over there. No damage to the vehicle, so maybe he's got a restroom break or something that he's having to run. He's running over to the Porta-John. Let's return there to Fear the Fun, who's sandwiched between Futang and Slipstream. because he's at 97% fuel. Yeah, D-Fire might have pitted because he has at 97% fuel, and so perhaps D-Fire just not having a good run out here and has decided, you know, I'm just going to watch from the sidelines, which is quite all right. As a matter of fact, you know, that's one of the best things that you can do is not necessarily just jump out of the race and I want to say jeopardize, because sometimes when you've got drivers that jump in and out of races, well, of course you can't jump in, but jump out of races, it sometimes can create a fluke that brings other drivers out with you. So it's good to just hang in there, stay out on the track all the way to the finish here as we've passed the halfway mark here in this 45 lapper. And now this battle between third, fourth, and fifth starting to thin out a little bit, although Slipstream with some momentum, potentially using a slipstream, whatever little slipstream there might be, or draft there on the backside of Fear the Fun. Oh, and there goes Fear the Fun! Wow, what a rash decision to go in hard there. The first part of the hairpin, he bangs up onto the door of Foontang, and that puts Foontang back into fifth position. Oh, I don't know about that one. If this were the FRC, in comes the adjudication. And Fear the Fun, I think, well, I don't know. He returns to the track pretty quickly there. I thought maybe he was going to duck off the track and allow the drivers to get by, but he comes back on quickly. And here comes the blue light special. Now to the outside, side by side. Fear the Fun, Slipstream up the hill, and Foontang, he wants a part of this, almost making it 3 wide. GG Racing saying, Fortunately, Fear the Fun did not boot Foontang off the edge of the, oh my gosh, and there he goes again. What a what a bold move there with Slipstream to the inside, carrying a little bit too much speed into the Andretti hairpin and bumping Slipstream a little bit, although not egregious. And now Foontang's gonna, I think Foontang's gonna try to make him pay and perhaps do a double pass here. Let's go to Foontang. And actually, let's ride on board. Let's get a view of what this battle looks like from Foontang's position as he drops back to fifth position now. Fear the Fun in fourth. Slipstream has now moved up to third, where he started this race. Actually, I believe Slipstream was on the opposite side of Cratrium from the start. They're in the second position. 2 spot. Fear needs to wait and give Foontang back his spot. Awesome battle, says Doug. Yeah, this is a good one. So here we are, riding on the bonnet. They go down the corkscrew. I don't think the view is giving it enough justice. That corkscrew is a bit more daunting than that looked like from the hood view here of Foontang's car. And Foontang now dropping back a little bit. You see D-Fire there off the left-hand side on the, not the runoff area, but the emergency vehicle pull-off. And now there goes Fear the Fun onto the backside of Slipstream, rolls off and actually taps the wall a little bit and hasn't quite returned to the track limits there, and now he does. Fear the Fun, I don't know if he's a bit frustrated with himself or what, and here he goes with that interesting angle of attack. He points the front end of the Alpha toward the apex quite early and kind of slides the car into it. And that would be very apropos because the back end of his car says, just gotta send it. Still all over the place, says GT Racing. Hey, this is fun though. You know, this is this is the beauty of leagues like FM4, the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, is that these guys, they're coming out here for fun. Yeah, sure, they're being competitive. They love to show the competitive spirit, but they are by no means taking this uber seriously, and that shows a little bit when you get some uncharacteristic driving styles start to emerge out there on the track. And even then, I wouldn't say it's uncharacteristic. It's just Fear the Fun and his approach, and the fact that he's winning there in fourth position, not half bad. Mesosphere now has dropped back to second position. Cratrium up to first for the beginning of lap number 26. They crossed the line. Yes, we are a little bit more than halfway to go in this, or a little bit less than halfway to go here in this 45 lapper. That 46th lap will be a celebratory lap for our drivers. And for those of you that are tuning in, thank you once again for being here. And if you are enjoying our racing content, and we've got so much more, I know you want more. We're going to bring you more. Give us a follow. Click that follow button. Lets me know that you are enjoying the broadcast. And, of course, I'm open for feedback. You got feedback for us, not only here for this race tonight, but any of the future races, to include our Indy 250 that is taking place on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And anything in the future, feedback over there at the Discord channel. I'll go ahead and drop a link. And it looks like our Nightbot is not working tonight. Apparently I didn't feed him enough peanuts. There you go. Head over to the Discord channel, not only for 3050, it says 3050 there by Nightbot, but all things Virtual Auto Sports. Find the feedback text channel there in the miscellaneous section, miscellaneous category. Oh, and here we go with the loading screen again. Our race leaders continue to be out there on track. It looks like D-Fire is the one who disconnected, and I don't know if that was maybe because of inactivity. So fortunately, we've not lost any of our drivers who remained in competition. Hate to see D-Fire go. Maybe we'll talk to D-Fire after the race here, and we'll talk to several of our other drivers. I do believe. I think they'll be up for it. AMSGG Racing talking about his Indy car. That'll be a part of the Indy 250 that we'll be doing here on Virtual Auto Sports this Thursday ahead of the Indianapolis 500 happening in the real world come Sunday. GG Racing saying his is sponsored by the Middle Oregon Car Meets and Enthusiast, since they will be supporting him for this. Well, fantastic, man. Good to hear that you've got real world support in addition to your Alien Motorsports team and all the support that entails, but that you've also got some other contributors. So good to hear, and we look forward to seeing GG Racing out there. I would say at this point, and others may say that I'm wrong, or others may even have a say in this, but by that I mean that they'll go out there on the track and have a go at it themselves. But I do believe that maybe GG Racing is the odds favorite to win our event this come Thursday. But again, if you want to give it a go, the Indianapolis 250, that's 100 laps around the Brickyard circuit. We'll talk about it a little bit later on here after the race. We'll have that going on, and the sign up for that is super simple. Drop the link for you there in the pit lane. Go check it out. All the information is there, and sign up. Mesosphere dropping off the pace of Cratrium a bit. Third position with Slipstream, Fear the Fun, and Funtang. That 3, 4th, and 5th battle has not changed since we last saw it, but guess what? There is another car working his way up. Tesaurus showing up for the first time here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. You can tell by that orange number board that annotates that he's an amateur in this series. However, we saw a very strong showing by Tesaurus earlier on in the season, although he joined, I think, in week number 2. But no slouch, and that'll be a name to watch as they go into season 28. I believe Tesaurus was as far back as 10th or 11th in this race, and now shows as 6th and closing in quickly on Funtang. Ooh, Ether and Hunt saying maybe Alonso can qualify for the Indy 250. Ooh. What's the meme? Sick burn. Yeah, Alonso not qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. His Mercedes Indy car. Ouch. And still, you can feel the tinge to that one. Although I'm sure Alonso's doing quite okay. His heart may be broken, but to be an IndyCar driver as your career, that's not a half bad gig. It's not even a 3/4 bad gig. Back up the Ray Hall straight here. We're riding with, or we're hanging out. Well, we are riding out with Tesaurus now up the hill. He sees Funtang. He's got Funtang in his sights. Slipstream and Fear the Fun are heading down the corkscrew as I speak. Well, now they are out ahead. They're going through that left-hander up ahead. And Tezoris making a strong push in that Momo livery car. Let's see if he's going to be able to close in on Funtang. Funtang has been very strong, and again, one of the hard chargers of the FM4 series, but always finds a way to get up front and then sometimes falls back. Sometimes he does stay out front, but all the time, it seems to be the case that Funtang has to work his way up to the front. But it's for these longer races where he does make that push, but then finds himself playing defense. And whether or not he's going to be able to hold off Tezoris for the next 37 laps or so, it remains to be seen. Oh, there's Nightbot. Hello, Nightbot. Good to see you. Doing your job. As we mentioned, Mesosphere falling back to second position. He was leading this race past the halfway point, and then Cratrium saying, I'll go ahead and take that over now. As they go down the corkscrew. It's like an art. It's so beautiful watching these guys get down the corkscrew in the ideal driving line, and they make it look so easy. Like a seamless transition with the back end just kind of wagging back and forth as the car pitches and rolls down the hill. All that extra weight on the car as you get the gravity going downhill. Adding a little bit more grip to those tires, so they do pretty good. Again, with that 155 horsepower, 128 foot-pounds of torque, 1,448 pounds of curb weight. That puts these cars into D-Class, top of D-Class. D400 is the performance index. The performance index is a Forza Motorsport thing, and it kind of translates in other real-world and virtual world of motorsports. It's like a balance of performance, and the performance index is an algorithm, or at least the result of it is from an algorithm that calculates top speed, acceleration, cornering, braking, all those things to net a number. Again, D400 is what these cars are at, and because this is a spec racing series, all the drivers, all the cars featuring the same performance upgrades. Yes, you can do your own little tuning setup. You can set these cars up to how you'd like as it relates to the tuning, but the components are all the same from car to car, and that'll be the case heading into season number 28. Which vehicle? Well, that remains to be seen. Lapsville is going to have to make the choice on that. Our battle back there, third, fourth, and fifth with Slipstream. Fear the Fun, Funtang has faded away a little bit, although Tezoris continues to hang onto the back end there of Funtang by about 5 or 6 car lengths as they head back up the Rahal Straight here on lap number 30. Chopper flying overhead, the clouds quickly pacing by. Beautiful day out here. Raceway Laguna Seca in the season 27 finale. These are the 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA Strali. Hey, I think I said it in order there. These cars have been fantastic to watch. What do you guys think? What do you think of these cars, the way that they've looked out here on the track? Maybe you've driven these cars in Forza Motorsport. Let us know your thoughts there in the pit lane. Would love to get that input. This is a highly conversational and engaging channel, more so on our Sunday broadcast. It's a little bit quieter on Tuesdays, but we look to change that as we go into a 3-day-a-week content regimen in the month of June, and we'll talk about that on Sunday with a special June 2019 preview. We'll get that knocked out in about 30 minutes, so for those of you that are going to be looking to watch the Indy 500 pre-race ceremonies, don't worry, we won't infringe upon that at all. We'll get you back out to that action very, very quickly, but find out about all the great stuff that's coming up here on the channel, the Virtual Auto Sports channel here on Twitch TV, and yes, we do have a giveaway. We're giving a set of 5, the entire set, 5 of 5 of the Silhouette Car Culture Hot Wheels premium cars. 5 of 5 includes a Greenwood Corvette. We've got a RWB 930, I think it is. You've got another Porsche in there. You've got a Nissan Skyline. What else? One other that I'm forgetting. But we're going to give that away. And because we do mind the rules and legalities all across the globe, it'll be a no purchase necessary giveaway. GG Racing saying might do the next FM4 race if I'm not busy. That'll be a while. They won't have their next race for a few weeks, but yeah, we would love to see you there at GG Racing. And of course, all of you in FM4, very much a come as you are, all skill levels are welcome. All you have to do is race clean. Get your car set up, get it painted with a theme, and you could be as elaborate with the paint scheme as you want or as minimalist as you desire. And come out here and race with these guys 5 weeks consecutively on Tuesdays. And again, season 28 won't be starting next Tuesday. They'll take a little bit of an off-season break, and we'll be back at it in due time. But then have your shot at the championship and be the 28th champion. Because, yeah, it's season 28. It's remarkably. Slow Motion Fire and the folks that have supported him over the years have done a bang-on job of hosting these races year after year. And fortunately, I've been proud and happy and humbled to be able to broadcast these since late last year, last fall. Back up here to Slipstream in third, coming down the corkscrew on lap 33. Presto's Besto in 7th on a racing island. Same can be said for Modern Weapon, and the same holds true for Weiss Lancelot back there in 9th as Weiss comes through the left-hander after the Mother's Bridge, and he's heading up toward the Rahal Straight, so he'll have lead lap traffic approaching him here in the next 4 or 5 laps. Back behind Weiss is going to be T-Phrase in 10th position, D-Fire in 11th, and actually D-Fire is out there on the track. So where I thought D-Fire was the one that disconnected, he remains on circuit. Let's go to second position there with Mesosphere and see if he's going to be able to catch up. And again, I think this is Cratrium on a controller, if I recall correctly, and Mesosphere on a racing wheel. And again, Mesosphere might very well be broadcasting this race from his point of view here on Twitch TV. Make sure you give him a follow, as all throughout the week Mesosphere is providing great racing content, not only in Forza Motorsport, but hops into Assetto Corsa, I believe, every once in a while, Competizione, and some of the other racing titles. Even jumping back into the time machine and going into the Forza Motorsport 4 days, the often highly praised FM4, and I'm right there with a lot of folks. It's really a close battle between FM3 and 4 for me. 4 sticks out more so in my mind just because it was obviously it's relatively fresher in my mind compared to 3. But I've gone back to the 2 titles every once in a while, and they still astonish me in how well put together they are. Atrium now continues to become almost a mirage out here at Raceway Laguna Seca. The heat reflecting off the tarmac of the asphalt, and Mesosphere going to have to try to catch back up to make a run for this one here in the final 10.5 laps. Back to Zoris there in 6th. Sounds like he's on controller, but might be wrong. I just went to his stream for a few seconds. Oh, okay, he might have hopped over to controller to be a bit more competitive. Perhaps. What would you guys like to see in the FRC? Would you guys like to see it become a wheel-based competition or remain a controller-based competition? or maybe do something that I don't think any racing series has ever done, and have a hybrid wheel and controller championship. I'm not sure I would be up to see that, but what would you guys prefer to see? Doug Roberts saying, what cars did they run in Forza Motorsport 3? Well, Forza Motorsport 3 had a very robust car roster, and but what the cars that stick out to me was that I think that was the debut of Audi. Audi had a very, very strong showing in Forza Motorsport 3. Audi was the cover car, and FM3 I think was the debut of. Did FM3 debut Auto Vista? I don't know. GG Racing saying stay on controller for FRC, and GG Racing going to make a go at the FRC this year. And the FRC, we should have details on that very, very soon. There's actually a test event that is happening as we speak all throughout this week over in Burbank, California. And racing teams from across the globe have descended upon the city of Burbank as they do kind of a test event. It's very much under wraps. We don't have any details, but what we do know is that they are testing a new format, something that is at least different from what the FRC has been in the last 3 years. And perhaps maybe we'll get some inside tidbits on what that looks like here in the coming weeks, or looked like. And inevitably, whatever it is that they test, all of that may not make the actual cut for the FRC itself, but it would be interesting to know what different approaches they're taking. And you have to believe a big part of it is going to involve Forza race regulations. It's got it. It has to. The amount of adjudication that takes place or took place in previous FRCs was just it was just not a great experience for viewers, and I can't imagine for the racers either. Not good to be waiting that long for adjudication. Let's go back to Fear the Fun, who has closed in on Slipstream there at third. We saw all the craziness that was Fear the Fun's approach there on Funtang, and Funtang unfortunately falling victim to that, and now back into fifth position, having to hold off to Zoris. But Fear the Fun now, who was running a third, now finds himself back behind Slipstream. And I don't know that Slipstream or Fear the Fun are going to be able to catch back up with first or second, barring any sort of devastating incident up front. But they're definitely making a good case for a battle here in third and fourth for a podium spot in third. Mateo Max saying not a fun experience for the adjudicators. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that's not the fault of the adjudicators. They're working with a kind of I want to say an antiquated system, but antiquated is not even the right word, because really this is all fairly new in the world of Forza Motorsport, although 3 years of FRC, and even then, before that, Forza Motorsport and Turn10 Studios have held professional competitions to a degree in the past, but just not with this level of production value, broadcast-wise. Don't get me wrong, the adjudicators are not to blame. They're working with an antiquated system that isn't antiquated, if that makes any sense, and they are just trying to make heads or tails of the action out on the track with what limited views and I'm guessing rewind capability that they have within the system itself. I don't know, perhaps one of the things that they're testing out there is a different Forza Motorsport platform altogether. Maybe they're running a standalone product. Who knows? I agree, Mateo Max. If the damn drivers just could stay on track and maintain their lane, huh? No, if you can only imagine, you're taking motorsport competition that obviously is very, very, it's uber competitive in the real world. You see mistakes, you see accidents happen in the real world, but then you transfer that or translate that into the virtual world, where in the virtual world you don't have any cause to be concerned about life or limb. And so you get that much more, I don't want to say controversy, but you get that much more of a need to look back at the tape and say, okay, what was a little bit outlandish? What went beyond the line of sportsmanship in terms of passes and exceedance or taking advantage of track limits, and so the virtual world of motorsports brings in a whole new aspect, a whole different approach to how do you enforce clean racing, and obviously Forza Racing Regulations looks to do that. However, that system in and of itself is in its infancy. Drivers must learn to treat the race like a 1950s high school dance. Stay 3 feet apart from each other at all. I tell you, Mateo Max's the analogies and the metaphors and the puns are just on point. The guy, grade A content from his, which again, I failed to do it thus far in this broadcast, but MateoMax.com, go head over there. The guy collates or archives pretty much anything and everything that you would want to know about the cars, tracks, upgrade options here in the virtual world of Forza Motorsport over there at MateoMax.com with a lot of helpful spreadsheets to guide you in maybe picking the optimal car for any racing series that you may have ahead of you. You ain't rubbing, you ain't racing, says Etherin. This is true. This is true. Just get rid of adjudication altogether. It's just a demolition derby. Let's go back to Mesosphere. He's not able to close in here on Craytrim, who is our... Whoa, no! Craytrim is off the pace! What has happened? Wow, we just saw it right before our eyes as we switched over to... to Mesosphere, and now Craytrim is back at it. And he's going to be dueling with lap traffic of T-Phrase there, Mr. Big Time Tooth Guy. Not entirely sure what has happened there. And I apologize, we lost our ticker there. There you go. And no damage to that car, so GG Racing saying, what? And it's like his engine died for a moment without the possibility of an engine dying. And it couldn't have been a controller issue because you don't come to a controlled stop or a controlled slowdown like that with a controller disconnect. So what was going on there? What did Craytrim decide he needed to do there is it escapes me. It eludes me. I don't know. And Mateo Max, since you said engine fail, let's just go ahead and the proverbial fail icon. We don't get to use it a lot, so when we do, we've got to take every advantage of it. All right, so there you go. Mesosphere is now our race leader again after having led the first half of this race, giving it up to Craytrim. Now Craytrim just randomly pulls off to the side, almost heading into pit lane, but doesn't. Craytrim now second position, Slipstream in third, Fear the Fun in fourth, Foontang in fifth. Foontang able to play great defense with Tesaurus there on the backside, and Tesaurus remains in sixth position. It'll be Weiss Lancelot, actually take that back. That's going to be Presto's Besto in seventh, Modern Weapon in eighth, Weiss in ninth, T-Phrase in 10th, D-Fire in 11th, and we've lost two drivers to include Slow Motion Fire, unfortunately. That's an unusual circumstance. We don't usually have the leader, the host of the FM4 series falling out of the race, and that most definitely had to be a disconnect. I don't think Slow Motion Fire would have ducked his way out purposefully. Although we haven't seen Slow Motion Fire here on the in the pit lane, so I hope everything is okay with Slow Motion Fire. I know we had some crazy weather through the Midwest here in the U.S., so hopefully all is okay. Maybe got a notification that controller was going to die and didn't want to risk it, so he switched batteries. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. That doesn't seem like a mistake Craytrim would have made, but I could be wrong. maybe we'll get Cratrim on the horn here in the driver's spotlight following this race. There goes Mesosphere now underneath the Continental Tire Bridge, and things have really stretched themselves out now out here as it relates to competition. Mesosphere with a sizable lead over Cratrim, and Cratrim a sizable lead over Slipstream. And then Fear the Fun not too far behind. The closest battle that we do have is that one between Funtang and Tesaurus. Presto is Besto on his own little racing island. Modern Weapon now going through the hairpin with Weiss Lancelot back on the opposite side, approaching the start-finish line as he gets ready to begin lap number 40, and then behind him will be Mesosphere beginning lap number 41 of this 45-lap race. Well, what choice do we have but to go to Tesaurus there in 6th? As he heads down the hill, Dustin Moore, it's been my honor, my privilege to broadcast these events all throughout season number 27, this being the 4th season that we've broadcasted since last fall. Yeah, it was that... It was back in the fall that we started with season number 24, and I look forward to doing many more of these broadcasts as we head into season 28, and I hope you'll be along for the ride either out on the track or here with us for the race. And as much as we would have loved to have seen Slash Vela go across the line for the 9th consecutive win, that just means we have to look forward to the future to see if any other driver can pull out the 9-race winning streak and be the first to do it in the 5-year history of FM4. A lot more racing, though, not just FM4 here on Virtual Autosports. We've got a lot coming in the month of June, and we've got one more race here in the month of May. It all concludes with the Indy 250 here on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and all the details and the registration there at that link that Nightbot has just dropped there for you. Go check it out, and if you're the least bit interested in taking the new 2019 Indy cars for a spin around the Brickyard for 100 laps, then please sign up. All we ask is that you race clean. We'll have 3 laps of qualifying, 2 of those being a flying lap. You've got to post a time under 1 minute to race. Anything over 1 minute, then we're going to give you the boot, but then we'll head out to the Brickyard for 100 laps of collisions always on, simulation damage, and 2 mandatory quick stops, but all that information there in the link that I just provided. There goes Funtang. Almost looked like he was going to give it up there to Tesaurus, but Funtang able to play pretty good defense there through the left-hander. Now carrying it through the final right-hander, the penultimate turn here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, up to the left-hander, and they might be side-by-side coming up to the flag stand. We'll see. Nope. Not going to happen this time by. And it looks like we've got another car. I'm not sure. Maybe that's D-Fire, who is once again pulled off to the side. It is. Going on the left-hander from the Mother's Bridge. I tell you what, back there in 9th position, Weiss Lancelot, he got passed by Mesosphere, our race leader, to go a lap down, but Weiss is not going down easy. He's keeping quite a pace going there as they come out of the corkscrew. We'll keep it here with Tesaurus and Funtang, however. And if you are enjoying the broadcast, please click that follow button. It lets me, in that ugly mug that you see there on the screen, it lets me know that you are enjoying the broadcast. And for those of you who can, either through a Twitch Prime subscription, and oh, look at that. Oh, that's D-Fire coming back out on the track. For those of you who can, if you have your free Twitch Prime subscription token, or if you're more than happy to do a monetary contribution, tier 1, 2, or 3, you can do that here on the channel with a subscription, and you can enjoy then ad-free viewing, which is very, very important here with our virtual races. You get ad-free broadcast, you get the racing emotes that we support here on the channel, and then you get listener access to our Racer Comms channel. So during our other virtual Autosports events, not to include the F4, whenever we have those events go live and our racers are in there chatting, you can listen to that live through that Racer Comms channel. Just one of the perks that you can have. And then for all of our fans here of Virtual Auto Sports, we'll have a giveaway in the month of June by way of a Hot Wheels Premium Car Culture Silhouette 5 of 5, a set of 5 cars. That we'll be giving away in the month of June, and we'll detail how you'll be able to have an entry or multiple entries into that giveaway. No purchase necessary. No purchase necessary. Underneath the Continental Bridge for the 43rd time, go Funtang and Tazores. Fear the fun now. All but a mirage in the distance there, as Fear the Fun having quite possibly one of the more exciting races out here on the track. Laguna Seca, this 27th season finale of the FM4. Slipstream in third, Cratrim in second, and again, we're going to have to somehow, maybe we'll get Cratrim in the driver's spotlight after the race here. We've got to figure out why he fell back purposefully. It wasn't accidentally. It was a I don't want to say it was a tactical slowdown because it didn't help him any, but clearly he had to pull off the track for one reason or another. And Slow Motion Fire, yes, giving us an update there in Discord, and he gave that update a while back, so I haven't seen it in quite some time, but yes, his power is out, and Slow Motion Fire, hope all is well and okay for you, whether it be weather related or otherwise. Do take care, and of course, I know one of the esteemed FM4 colleagues will go ahead and happily take care of things for you, and of course, we'll have the broadcast in its entirety available here on Twitch TV so that you can roll back and verify things on the broadcast in terms of finishing position. Wicked storms in the Midwest here this week. And so Tazores, as he still sits there behind Funtang, has got 2 laps to make it happen here. Will he be able to do it? Nothing doing for Mesosphere. Well, Mesosphere, he doesn't have to have anything happen for him. He just needs to hold on to that top spot. It's Cratrim who's going to have to make a run for it as they begin the final lap. The white flag flies for Mesosphere and Cratrim. 45-lap finale here in season number 27, saying goodbye to the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA Sprint Stradale. Hooks the left-hander. Oh, that was Demos that we lost earlier. Demos. I just saw it now on the ticker. I forget every once in a while to look up at the ticker to see who we lost. And there we go. The white flag now flying for Funtang and Tazores. Here they come up to turn number 2. Turn number 1 is kind of that little dog leg coming down the hill. And here goes Tazores in the midline, now bringing it back toward the apex. Heading up toward the right-hander where the Continental Bridge awaits them for the final time. Going to stay single file. Funtang, if he can keep his pace, he'll be in a good position to finish out in 5th. Fear the Fun up there in 4th. Slipstream in 3rd. Cratrim in 2nd. Meza in 1st. Meza now past the corkscrew, heading up to the final left-hander. He'll get the checker flag as he crosses the flag stand, but we're going to keep it here in this little battle, the one that we do have out on the track. Congratulations, the first driver not named Slapsvella to win a race here in season number 27, breaking that win streak that Slapsvella carried, but unfortunately was not able to execute all the way to completion here, not racing tonight. Slapsvella showing up for the first time in week number 4, comes away with the win at Laguna Seca in race number 9, week 5. Tazores, as hard as he's pushing it, Funtang Just going to be a hard nut to crack, although that gap is closing a little bit. Let's see if Dezoris is going to make a run for it here in the final left-hander. Here he comes, late braking, popping off some backfire there, and nothing's going to happen here. It's going to be Futang in fifth, Dezoris in sixth. What a great battle, all the way from third back to sixth with Slipstream. Fear the Fun, Futang, and Dezoris, and there goes Dezoris giving a nice little friendly bump there to the back of Futang, and now here comes Presto Espesto in seventh position. Ether and Hunt with the Fitty. Fitty? Yeah, might as well go with Fitty. Fitty Bits! Thanks for another great season. Love the play-by-play. Ether and Hunt, man, I appreciate your support of the channel with your bits. That takes you up to 427, sitting in that second spot, and yeah, you're moving up the ladder there, although because of your second position overall, you get the default second place badge. But man, if Twitch allowed me to change the bit badges for the podium spots, I would definitely make it something different, or give you like a Stig icon or something. And so there goes seventh. Presto Espesto. Modern Weapon now in eighth. Weiss Lancelot in ninth. T-Phrase in 10th. And D-Fire there in 11th. And again, it was Slow Motion Fire and Demos who get the DNF in this race. And there you go, folks. That's it for season number 27. It has been a great one. A fantastic season. And I'm going to turn over to the Q for Interview channel here on Discord, see if anybody wants to have a chat. Drivers, you know where to go. And even those of you that are viewing, if you're in the FM4 Discord, which you can find over at reddit.com/r/FM4, you can head over to that Q for Interview section, and I'll happily bring you in, and we can have a chat about maybe season 28, what your thoughts were on this race. Doug, again, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you being an active participant here in our pit lane. Doug saying, great race, can't wait to see more. Thank you, and thank you for being here. And everybody is going to take the long walk, and I say long only because they're going to go at a slow clip here, around Mazda Raceway, a nice little formation lap. Dino Dad Shadow TV saying, have a good everyone. I like it. Have a good everyone. He's out. Make sure you guys drop by Dino Dad Shadow TV, DDS TV, and give him a follow here on Twitch. It'd be much appreciated. Mesosphere in Discord saying thank you, and it was a lot of fun, but then he started to fall asleep, and he probably thought he was daydreaming there maybe for a second as Cratrium just, I don't know, randomly pulled off the track. And again, I don't know. I hope we can get Cratrium here into the driver's spotlight to tell us what was what. What happened there that had him pulling off the track. And look at that, beautifully going 3 wide is the rest of the pack, and they don't care where they finish at this point. And unfortunately, that means when we go into the post-race screen, we won't go to the results because those will be all askew. There you go, Mesosphere, who's going to lead the pack of 11. Well, make that 10 since 2 of them decided not to participate. And Mesosphere, a tip of the hat to you, sir, and a wave of the checker flag once again as they cross the line. And again, these beautiful, this is kind of a sad, somber goodbye. And Bureaucravis, thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate that, and there they go. Across the line, I'm going to take a look at the previous race results, but they're not accurate. Those aren't correct, so I'm going to go ahead and drop out of that, and let's go ahead and see if any of our drivers would like to chat with us here in the driver's spotlight. You guys, you know where to go. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. Cratrium saying in the... Oh, Cratrium saying that his batteries did indeed die. Interesting. That was the smoothest, slowest battery death car coming to a halt that I think I've ever seen. And so unfortunately, Cratrium giving up the win here to Mesosphere, or at least giving up the spot. Who knows if Mesosphere would have been able to battle it out in the remaining laps? But man, yeah, that's unfortunate. And I say respectfully to Kratrium, a rookie mistake there with the batteries dying here in this race. And oh my gosh, we've got drivers out the wazoo joining us here in the driver spotlight. And who best or better to go to right off the bat than Mr. Big Time Tooth Guy, T. Phrase. Man, I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings too much. And I love the fact that you have taken to it there in the Discord channel. The finale. Are you as sad to see the Alfa Romeo go as I am?
I was over it. I mean, it was fun for. I guess really okay. This season was like Game of Thrones for me. It was a struggle at the beginning. The second one was, oh whatever, and then this last season for me was terrible because I didn't practice for the last race. I just had too much going on, so therefore it was like literally a letdown of how good this car was. And it kind of peaked a couple seasons ago. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun car, but I'm ready for a little bit more power. I'm hoping next one is going to be at least in C.
Yeah, you're already sending your messages over to Slaps Vela like, hey guy, can we up the ante a little bit here, or at least add a little horsepower under the hood?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mind doing it like this. Like I said, these are fun, but what the thing that I really like to do is I really enjoy endurance racing. So when you have an endurance race like this where you don't use half the gas tank and 20% tire air, I think was what everybody had.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I want to put a pit stop or two in there. So just some strategy stuff. But no, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a fun car and I will definitely use it in D class. It's really fast in D class. And you can throw this thing around and mash the gas and it'll come right back to you. But it's I'm ready for something new and I hope it's not open wheel.
Talking with T-Phrase, finishing out the race here. I don't know where you finished overall because you guys were just one big bunch coming across the line on that celebratory lap there at the end. Are you pretty satisfied, though, with the finale? You said you didn't get a chance to practice for it because you had some other life things going on, but was this a good way to put to close the book here?
I mean, I guess it'll be my drop week because I finished 10th, and it looks I was running 143s at the end of it, which if I'd have qualified with a 143, it'd have been around third. So, like I said, I mean, I gained almost 4 seconds from qualifying to the end of the race on pace. So that part, I'm satisfied there. But again, it's just one of those things. I made a mistake again. I ran into a wall, so I had to pit. So, but it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's just a fun time to relax on Tuesdays and race with these guys because they all race clean. We're all, we're not. Every once in a while, there'll be a heated discussion, but it's usually taken care of within the next day or two.
Tesaurus in the pit lane saying excuses for you.
Oh, look, Tesaurus is a great man for giving me a sub for a month, and
that's right.
I'm going to come after you and Tora, so you just be waiting, mister.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Throwing it down.
Yeah.
Coming at you at Tora.
So,
very
yeah,
cool.
No, it was a good time. I'm ready for Thursday now because I will be around on Thursday. I will be
cool.
around.
Yeah, you and I we'll chat about that here after leading up to Thursday. T-Phrase, I'm going to ask this of all our drivers just briefly. What would you say to anybody who's watching and thinking about participating?
Do it. We had, last season we had, I think, a full lobby for the first time. This season, things, some life stuff got into people's way. It's summertime. I get it. People are going on vacation, so they can't commit, things like that, which is fine. But, just like this week and last week, Tesaurus joined. He had a great race last week. This week we had the guy who won Mesosaurus. All these dinosaurs are coming in here and
I know,
taking over. So just join. Even if you can't, come in for a week, it at least fills the lobby up. And, if you know how to drive cleanly and can, stay in at least, even if you can't, just understand like what we're trying to accomplish as a group here, clean, fun racing. Even if you're slow, we don't care. We're not going to sit here and bash you and laugh at you.
Yep.
Just make sure you're not wrecking people as you're being slow. That's the only thing we ask. And people do that perfectly fine. So, obviously from last week going to a podium to this week, I was 10th. So you just never know what's going to happen, in this series. So it's just come out, race. Let's get a full lobby, and so that we can have more viewers and more people. The better showing we have with drivers, I feel like the better viewing experience we have, because there's not that lag and lull of where is everybody? Who's got a race? There's always going to be a battle when there's 23 drivers.
Indeed. T-Phrase, hey, great talking to you as always. Congratulations on another season under your belt here. We look forward to seeing what season 28 has in store, and undoubtedly we'll see you out there on the track.
Sounds good. Thank you, bud.
Thank you. And I was going to go to Foontang, but we got to go to the man of the race here, Mesosphere, being the only other driver that isn't named Slapsvilla to come away with a victory here in season number 27 in these Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA Stradales. Mesosphere, you said you were getting a little bit tired on into the race there. I know it's late across the pond. Did you think you were dreaming when you saw Cratrium off the side of the road?
Yes, actually, because I pretty much parked up at the hairpin just after him. I was like, wait, what is they even, like I said, is the race over or something? It's like, no. So I got on the gas again and started going. So yes, definitely thought I was dreaming, because he literally just in the entrance to the pit lane just parked up there on the left and just stopped. And it's like, oh, what? So yeah.
Yeah, and maybe not necessarily the way that you would want to win, but in racing, you'll take the wins as they come. You guys had a great battle early on. You were leading about halfway through the first half of the race. Had the race continued, and of course, Cratrium, or the battle between you guys continued on. Of course, Cratrium was able to get ahead of you. Did you have enough in you to get it back around him, or was he just kind of harassing you and waiting to put you in his rearview mirror quickly? Do you know?
I'll be perfectly honest. With this being just my second week driving the car, I think I learned a lot following him, because my lap times dropped down into the 42s following him. I wish I'd been a little bit more alert or had some caffeine or something on hand, because then I think I could have given him a bit more grace. But after a few laps of following and chasing, a couple of mistakes crept in, and then a couple more, and then I got really lucky and he had the battery issue. If the battle could have continued, I think it would have been the same to the end, because like I said, for like 3 or 4 laps when I could concentrate because it was a different situation, alert again, I could hang with him. Whether I had enough to get around him, I would have needed a mistake, but much like he needed a mistake to get around me, because I went a little too deep into the final turn, and that gave him the cutback, and he got just up alongside enough that I had to give him some room. And of course he's on the left hand side going straight, and that's not particularly straight. So, right. Yeah, the inside and the braking zone.
Yeah, well, I really wish we would have been able to see that battle play out all the way to the end. Talking with Mesosphere here. You can find him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mesosphere. We had the question, and we'll step away from the race here for a second. We had the question in the pit lane earlier. Was Mesosphere running with the wheel or the controller this race?
This race, I was running with controller.
With controller, and for those folks who we don't have to go into great detail, but for those folks who may be curious, what are the advantages or disadvantages of being on a controller, especially in an organized event like this?
Right. For me, it's mostly comfort. Insofar as it's what I'm used to on Forza. Basically, when I've got a chest issue at the moment, and so that means the force feedback going through your chest can hurt if I'm doing it for a long duration. Yeah. So that's my main choice this time. Technically wise, faster lock to lock is possible steering wise. Also, the tactile feedback you get through the braking and the accelerating triggers can be very useful with controlling wheel spin, things like that. I'm very fortunate that in the wheel I've got, it actually has that as well. So that's less of an issue for me. But tonight it was just comfort. It's nice, easy, and I can just sit there and chill and relax instead of trying to fight a wheel for an hour and a half.
Right. Yep. There you go, folks. You heard it from the man himself, who usually drives on the wheel, at least during his broadcast, Mesosphere. And again, that's twitch.tv/Mesosphere. Hey, I don't think we've had a word together, so thank you very much for jumping into the driver's spotlight, and good work here in these last couple of races of Season 27, and we hope to see you in future races here in the FM4.
Yeah, I hope to join you again. It's been really good fun. Thanks very much.
You bet. All right, and let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go to Foontang now, because we do have a very interesting question to ask here. Foontang appeared to maybe have been the victim of a nice aggressive move by Fear the Fun. Foontang, what did it look like from your perspective? And that's it. He's at a loss for words. He doesn't know. So I'll go ahead and drop Foontang back. Perhaps he was waiting so long that he just didn't know that he was going to be the next one up. Let's go to Racer X's brother, which is, and Racer X's brother wants no part of it. Let's try it again. D-Fire, are you there?
I am here.
Hey, what's going on there? We saw you off to the side of the track there a couple of times. Was that purely because you had some traffic coming up on you, or did you have to step away from the race for a little bit?
Yeah, it was. But I chose to step away.
Yeah.
It was, hey, I had been lapped by everybody, and decided to just do a little strategic move to see if I could get some attrition, and maybe improve from 13th to something better than 13th. And hey, it worked out. I got to 11th. I mean, silly, but it was a strategy. So
Hey, even with DNFs, if you move up from 13th to 11th, I'll take that any day. We're talking with D-Fire here, who finished out at the back end of the race. But I would like to say that you're the perfect example, not to poke fun or to harass you about finishing last, but you're the perfect example of, hey, stick in it, stick with it all the way to the end. Don't hop out because you feel like, oh gosh, I'm just getting wiped the floor with. But staying out there, getting better over time, building your skill over time, and then of course, if we see in season 28, maybe you bring some of that knowledge and technique with you to get better in that season.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean that's sort of the point. I mean, it's a fun series. That's why I wait to get interviewed last, because I come in last, right? So that's sort of my trademark. I even have my son sort of defending my pace on on the chat.
Yeah,
it's like hey boy, you don't really need to do that. But no, and I put the time in, and I try to practice and tune up. And this week I actually realized 15 minutes before, I was like, oh crap, it's race week, it's race night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit tricky this week. But fun. This car is weird. I liked it at the beginning, but as the season moved on, I realized, wow, I'm sort of outclassed again. But it's fine. Having tons of fun. The guys are great. I mean, they're all great. We have tons of fun. So appreciate you taking the time to talk to me tonight.
You bet. And so, asking D-Fire here. We're talking with D-Fire here in the driver's spotlight after the conclusion of season 27. Heading into season 28, what would be your preference? Something a little bit more horsepower? Do you find yourself taking a liking to maybe GT class, or what is it that you are hoping for here?
Yeah. It seems like the last two seasons has been like these momentum cars. So something with a little more horsepower, GT style, absolutely 100%. Yeah, so give me some Ferrari, some Porsche, something that I don't have to carry so much momentum through every turn. I can sort of make up for my mistakes in the turns with a little horsepower, and I might do a little bit better.
There you go. Slip $1 under the table for Slapsville and say, hey, man, get me into something I like. D-Fire, hey, it's been great talking with you here in Season 27. I do hope that we'll see you out on the track for Season 28. And again, I think you're a great shining example of no matter your skill level, get out here and just run the race. Have a good time.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. And D-Fire was saying, hey, I'm going to take the interview last because I finished last, but we're going to go back to Foontang, who now I think has his push to talk sorted out. Foontang, tell us what happened there. You, Fear the Fun, heading into Andretti hairpin there, I don't know, midway through the race. You fell back a couple of spots. What did it look like from your angle?
It was just fear. Outbroke himself. It happens.
I thought you were going to say it's
racing.
just fear being fear.
No. We were having a really good scrap. I don't know if you were watching, but me, Fear, and Slip were hammer and tong, and it got a bit heated, and there was just a little bit of late braking. It happens. We accepted it. We had a laugh about it. It was a good race.
Chatting with Futang here in the driver's spotlight, has been a participant across virtual autosport races, not only here in FM4 but elsewhere. Futang, moving forward into season 28, I only anticipate or expect that you'll be there. I guess maybe you can confirm that for us.
Of course, I will be.
Perfect, awesome, and. I don't know. Are there going to be any other appearances, any other racing leagues? Are you going Tora? Are you doing anything else? Any side gigs for you?
I'm thinking about the Mighty Might series in Tora.
Okay.
I'm thinking about 30-50. I just need to start waking up a little bit earlier.
Which, by the way, folks,
really.
that's 4 p.m. British time. So Futang's got to wake up early enough for that.
Well, I'm a night owl.
You're a night owl. I hear you. Yeah. I would too if my job allowed it. Yeah. Futang, I'm going to ask you the same question that we had a little bit earlier with I believe it was T-Phrase. Are you sad to see the Alfa Romeo go here, the Giulia Sprint GT Stradale, or are you glad that we've closed the book on this one here?
I'm a little bit glad. I wasn't too hot in this car. I really enjoyed it. It was a dream to drive. I just wasn't very fast in it. It was a strange car to drive, but as I say, it was fantastic. The season was amazing. There was some brilliant racing. It was just great. But I just wasn't. I didn't connect with the car as well as I did, as well as I should. Sorry. Yeah.
Slow motion fire usually promises me good racing all throughout the season, and I think we've gotten a couple of bars above that. Exceptional racing here in these Alfa Romeos. Looking forward to seeing what happens in season number 28. If you were to say, hey, what this is my ideal car, what would that be?
Probably a front wheel drive hatchback, something like a Vauxhall Corsa, maybe a Clio, something like that.
Some front-wheel drive, hot hatch action, maybe. Yeah, that would be that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, he's already frothing over it. He's like, yeah, let's get that.
Although I've got a feeling I know what Slaps has picked. I'm probably way wrong, but I've got a feeling I know.
And, of course, all of our viewers and the drivers alike, they can guess what that vehicle is going to be. Slow Motion Fire, once he has confirmation from Slaps, will post some obscure shots where you can guess what that car is going to be. Futang, thanks so much for jumping in here, the driver spotlight. We don't get to talk to you enough, so hopefully don't be a stranger in season 28 and we can chat more.
I'll be back, mate. I hope you will be back next season. And thank you very much, Dustin, for all your commentary work, everything. It's always on point, fantastic stuff. Much love.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. And we're gonna go now. We're gonna go now to Fear the Fun, Mr. Big J Bishop. I like to say his Discord name because it's always a fun one to roll off the tongue. Man, you were looking. If anybody got style points out there on the track here at Laguna Seca in that Alfa Romeo, it most certainly was you.
Everybody says that. I don't get it. I just drive me. And everybody seems to love it.
Thinking back, if you can recall that moment, you were making the move there on Futang on the inside of turn 2 there at Andretti Hairpin. Was it some late braking, or were you really saying, hey, you know what, let's have some fun with this thing. Let me go in there bold and see what happens.
No, it was just late braking. I did it a couple times going in there, following Futang a couple laps beforehand. And I was like, I made it work those other 2 times, and I didn't late break straight into him, and it kind of slowed him down a lot more than I really would have liked. I didn't mean to do it at all. It was just on the brakes a little late.
A little late. And you were probably part of one of the best battles out there from third on back to 6th position. Ultimately, I think you finished, 4th?
Yes.
So for a time there, you were holding off, playing good defense in 3rd position. obviously you would have rather have finished there, but what would have taken to hold off the other three guys that were vying for that position? I mean, it seemed like that was a pretty hefty task for anybody who would have been in that spot, but you certainly were.
So I have this thing where, like, at the very beginning of the race, I'm not really in the zone. Then, like, towards like the middle of the race, I start getting really fast, and at the end, once everything's kind of settled down and there's nobody around me, where I really start dropping off on my lap times. And it's just, I don't know how to, like, even that out a little bit more. Maybe smooth the drop off so it's not as harsh going backwards. But that's what happens. It's like even more so. Slip got really fast after the middle section of the thing and just started pulling away from me, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Middle part of the track and middle part of the race as well. Long 45-lapper here was the Season 27 finale. Fear the Fun, always great representation from you, man. We see you out there, and yes, you get the style points for sure, and you get out there, and it seems like you're having fun every single time. So if you had kind of just briefly, like maybe your elevator pitch for FM4, anybody who's thinking about participating, what would you say to them?
If you like fun, if you like having friends, or not having friends, but making friends, you want a friendly community, and you like good racing, RFM4 Spec. Doesn't matter what your skill is. Doesn't matter what your skill isn't. As long as you're just down to chill out with a bunch of friends, hang out, race, be a little competitive, but not take it too seriously, this is the place for you.
That's my kind of racing league. Fear the Fun. Thank you very much, man, and what a great way to transition on out of this broadcast. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I hope you're back next year, or not next year, next season.
Yeah.
And
I'm planning on it.
If you're planning on it, that's great. We'll see you next season. I don't know what the car is going to be, but if I had to say, it'd have to be an American, big old Chevy, or not sure, American Steel from Detroit from the 70s or 60s. I need a big body American car in my life.
Man, you guys got some lobbying to do with Slapswella. I don't know if he's going to go that direction, but, man, if you could make that happen, that would be fantastic to watch. Again, Fear the Fun, good talking with you, man.
You too. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. And there you go, folks. I don't see anybody else in the driver queue or the post-race queue, and apologize for just showing the lobby here as we haven't we didn't get any post-race results with the drivers doing a nice celebratory finish. And hold on one second here because I'm going to pull something up. Let's see here. I got to find it. Actually, I didn't load it up ahead of time, so foul on me. But stand by. Wait for it. Wait for it. I promise it'll be worth it, I think. Oh, no. Where'd it go? Hold on. I've got this. The longest awkward silence in virtual auto sports history. There it is. Yes, the fan giveaway coming in the month of June, and we're doing all kinds of things. We're stepping up our game. And actually, before I go any further, please let me pause and say Broccoli Cheddar Gaming, who actually I believe is Weiss Lancelot, or actually not Weiss Lancelot, is stand by again, Tesaurus. I think that's Tesaurus' other account, gifting a subscription there to Weiss Lancelot. 1 month of the subscription here, the Tier 1 subscription to the channel. Broccoli Cheddar Gaming / Tesaurus, thank you very much. And Weiss Lancelot, enjoy your subscription there. And Mesosphere, thank you very much for the follow. Great to have that follow from you. And you guys make sure you go give a follow to Mesosphere if you haven't already here on Twitch TV. All right, let's talk about what's ahead here. We've got a lot of stuff. I'm going to rattle it off really, really quickly because we're already here at the top of the hour. But the fan giveaway of June, we're going to have more details on what that's going to be here on Sunday when we do our June 2019 preview. But I promise you, if you want a shot at these cars, because there is no purchase necessary, because yes, I am adhering to federal laws, not only here in the States, but elsewhere. No purchase necessary for this giveaway. All you have to do is be present to enter, and we'll give you the details on how you can enter. But we will be giving away a full set of the 5 Silhouette Car Culture vehicles. There you see them on the screen with the Nissan, the RWB, the Porsche, the Corvette, and the Chevy Monza. you want to have a shot at winning that, even if you're not a car collector. I'm not a car collector or a Hot Wheels car collector, but even if you want to add these as a little token of your fanship or your fandom of Virtual Autosports, then you most certainly want to be tuned in on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Again, we're going to go through it very, very quickly during that broadcast with our June 2019 preview show. But I would be remiss not to say that we've got a lot more action, at least another day's worth or another evening's worth with the Indy 250 this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And please, if even you're the least bit interested in participating, there is the registration form that Nightbot has just dropped into the pit lane. Please sign up for that. 250 miles of racing, half of what is going to be happening on Sunday in the Real World Indy 500. That means it's 100 laps around the 2.5-mile Brickyard circuit in the new 2019 Indy cars. 610 horsepower, I do believe it is, with that with that oval circuit aero package. So you make sure that you put that on, and then we'll do 3 laps of qualifying, 2 of those obviously being flying laps. Try to set your best time to be out in front. Then what we're going to do is it's going to be a standing start for the 250-mile race. Yes, a standing start. I just don't have enough of a support team at this point for this race to do any sort of rolling start. So it'll be a standing start, and the further you qualify up on the grid, the better, because what's going to happen is each row is going to depart in 2-second increments. So if you're on the first row, you'll leave 2 seconds earlier than the second row. The reason for that is because, one, it is a standing start, and we want to try to have as clean a start as possible, because the race is indeed collisions always on, simulation damage, and 2 mandatory quick stops. Again, all the details there in the Nightbot link. Indy 250 this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. What else do we have? A special announcement, and that's what I was just alluding to there during the Hot Wheels bit, is that the Virtual Autosports first ever monthly preview, the June 2019 preview, 11 a.m. Eastern, that's 4 p.m. British time, this coming Sunday. So we will not have any racing like we normally do here on the broadcast, but instead we'll do a nice preview of June 2019. You want a sneak peek? Just scroll on down below, twitch.tv/Virtual Autosports. We have most of the racing schedule posted down there, and we'll have the details on those races in this preview event. It's going to be exciting. This is something that I'm very much pumped, motivated, and encouraged to carry out here in the month of June, because some folks have been telling me, hey, we would love to get more content. We'd love to have more races to participate in, a larger variety of races. Well, that's exactly what we're going to have. Content on Sundays, on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays. That's every other day, with the exception of Friday and Saturday. We'll have 2 off days there, but every other day for 4 weeks right here in the month of June. And that includes 2 very special races with a 2.5 hours of Le Mans and 2.5 hours of the Nürburgring. And every time that we've done those special events in the past, they've been wildly, wildly successful. And again, everything here on Virtual Autosports, regardless of your skill level, doesn't matter how good you are, come out here and race with us. If you're a top professional level FRC driver, we would love to have you out on the track. You are just learning the ropes here in Forza Motorsport. Maybe you're getting acclimated to the world of virtual racing. You're welcome as well. All we ask is that you race clean. Folks, that is going to do it for me here tonight. Again, what a way to end what has been a beautiful, beautiful season here with the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA Stradale, season number 27. It is Slaps Vela who comes away with the championship, falling just 1 race short of a 9-race sweep. Mesosphere picks up the win here tonight out at Laguna Seca. What will season 28 entail? You're just going to have to stick around and find out all the details as soon as they're available over at reddit.com/r/FM4. And then, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at More on the Mic. That's MOORE on the mic. There on Twitter, and as soon as I get information, I post it up there. We'd love to have you out on the track, at the very least, spectating with us, just like we have here this evening, and details on what that Season 28 are going to be are coming out pretty darn soon, so be on the lookout for those, and make plans to either watch or race. If you get any other virtual racing action in or real world racing action in, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. We'll see you next time here on Virtual Autosports. Goodbye.